Yo, it is only 14 days until graduation. I don't know about you, but me, I am ready. Oh, it's crazy. It's just so crazy how 4 years goes by so fast. Like, whether you've been in college the last 4 years, or maybe you graduate high school last 4 years, or last 4 years of your life just been working, or whatever place you're at in life. It is so crazy how 4 years will just change so much. I remember before I went to college, I had this whole plan of like, I'm going to be an OBGYN, I'm going to go to JMU, my dream school, after doing my residency, I'm going to get married by 28, I'm going to have my little 4 kids, 6 kids, whatever. Y'all, let me tell you something. Your plan and God's plan are two completely different things. And God is not a cosigner. God is not a genie in a bottle. So when you're planning and everything, right? It's not like, okay, God, I want to do this. So this is exactly what I'm going to do, and you're going to have your hand on it, and you're going to direct me. It's not like everybody right now is like at different places, right? And so, say for instance, you're at a point right now where you're like, I don't know what's next for me. I don't even know how I'm going to get a job during COVID-19, or I don't know what's next after graduation, or I just don't even know what this summer is going to look like for myself. Instead of asking, God, what will you do for me? Maybe start asking, God, what do you want me to do? God, what is your plan for me? God, where are you directing me? Because God is not a cosigner. So just because you have a plan and you have it all laid out and you think it's going to be sprinkle, just because you think it's going to be that, like, that might not be God's plan for you. You might be in a relationship right now, and that's not the person you're going to end up marrying. That's not the person God wants you to make a covenant with. You might be like just chasing money, and God's telling you, be still right now. The money will come, but be still right now, and I'm going to provide you with a job. I'm going to provide you with a business one day. You don't know what God will do in your life. And now where I'm at, I'm a 2020 JMU graduate, architecture design major, and where I'm about to go in life, it is nothing like I imagined 4 years ago or even 2 years ago. First of all, like with JMU was always my plan, right? But my plan was never to come to college and come to Christ, like be saved. Like, what? How you go to college and you find Jesus? Like, what? It's so crazy. And so a couple months ago, right, I was like starting to think, and this is why, listen to God's voice before you listen to anyone around you. Like, whether they, like, yes, like, especially people that don't know God. Be very careful with that. But also people who do know God, because God can give you a vision. God can have you pregnant with something you can't name. That doesn't make sense. But you have to listen to God. You have to be obedient and faithful to that, even when it doesn't make sense for yourself. And so, say for instance, a couple months ago, right, I was like, God, I want to travel. I want to do this and that, because I went to Spain last summer. It was the best experience of my life. And so I was like, maybe when I graduate, I'll just do like graduate school in UK. I have connections. I have everything lined up. Everything is lining up, right? Maybe I should do this. And then I go into a professor's office, and she tells me about Fulbright scholarship. And I've heard about it before. I was like, okay, whatever. And then talked to someone from Fulbright that's a scholar in Poland. Then I talked to another girl that's in Fulbright in Malaysia. And then so my spiritual mother is like Miss Andai. We're just talking, mid conversation, like all over the place, talking about what I want to do after graduation. This is end of last semester, so December last year. So I'm like all over the place, like, I need this, da. She just stops me. She's like, Gabby, God just told me, what if you apply for Fulbright, right? And he'll just do that. He'll provide. God will provide. He will provide. But what if you just do that? Literally, she said that. I said, okay, throw out my plan. I don't care anymore. I want whatever God has for me. And then I was like, okay. And so that's where I'm at. And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm applying for a Fulbright scholarship. And then if I do receive it, then I will be leaving to move to Ethiopia 2022 for 9 months, maybe even a couple years. I don't know, whatever God has for me. But if I don't get and then also, this is the other thing within God's plan, just because everything is positioned and God can move you towards something and then move you towards something even greater. So for instance, with me, if I don't get a Fulbright scholarship, it doesn't mean that, oh, I didn't do good enough. It doesn't mean that, oh, God wasn't there for me. It means God has more in store for me. God has greater in store for me. And so I am applying for a Fulbright scholarship, but still, if I don't get it, that does not change who God is and how good he is, because he's good all the time, baby. And so that's Fulbright scholarship. And so then a couple of months back, I go to a conference with my my church, with my spiritual global family, ENC. So I go to conference or whatever, and that day God's telling me just like fast. I'm like, it's conference day, like what? Come on, like what are you talking about? So he just tells me fast or whatever, and then just listen to you, like I'm saving you up for something. So then at night, one of the preachers was talking at the end. He does a call and he's like, if you feel called to campus ministry, stand up. And so God just lifts me out my seat, and I'm like, God, what we got going on? Like, what are you talking about? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And so I stand up and like, I literally can't, I'm telling you, the spiritual world, y'all, when you know Jesus, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. But I just feel him move me out my seat. And so then the dude does a second call, and if you feel called to campus ministry, and then come up to the front. And I'm like, okay, God, like I know you ain't called me to that, so I'm gonna stand up, I guess, but I don't know about that. And so then the girl sitting next to me, she just raised her hand, and it just floats on my shoulder. And that was like God telling me, like, go up to the front. And so then I go up and I just start bawling tears, because I'm like, God, I don't know what's going on. And then I ask God this question. I say, God, am I going to be alone if I do this or whatever? And then one of my friends just pressed her hand on my shoulder. It was God just reassuring me. It was like part two of like kind of like when I got saved, like just the everything. But yeah, and so these next 2 years, and so that's that. And then he revealed two other things to me that night too. But so I remember like from being obedient to God within that, right? Just that time, just that small time frame. And then how he's just positioned me now, whereas like I'm graduating, I'm joyful because like I know where God is directing me, and that also it doesn't make sense. Yeah, at the same time, I know that God just has so much in store for me, just so much. And so I'm thinking of like, well, I don't know what God has in store for me or whatever, because like, how do I know this? Sit still in prayer. Sit still in prayer is the first step. Sit still in prayer. Don't put yourself in situations that don't glorify God. And then also don't just try to make everything about you. You know, like these next couple of years in life, I'm not just thinking about, okay, God, what are you going to do for me? I'm thinking, God, where do you want to place me to help your people? God, how can I bring your kingdom on earth right now? Like, what can I do to do that? And so first, sit still. And then also, if you really want to know what it's like to have God's plan versus your plan, it's like, who's texting me? Oh, okay. So it's like, and think of God's plan versus your plan. It's like Matthew 8:34. Then he called the crowd to him along with his disciples and said, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it. But whoever loses their life for me and for the gospel will save it. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? So let me tell you this right now, right? You can chase money, you can chase that girl with the fat butt, you can chase that dude with the nice boo 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 or whatever. You can chase all of these things, right? You can chase them. You can gain everything. You can have everything you want, and that's still not what God has in store for you. God has so much in store for you. You can chase all these things all you want to. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with following Christ, and like, yes, God wants you to be abundant. He wants you to be abundant in your finances and your spirit and everything, your fitness, everything. Yet at the same time, it's about God first before any of that. It is about Him first. It's not, okay, God, I'm gonna be this like perfect little Christian, and then I'm gonna tell you what you want me to do. No, it's not. God is not a genie in a bottle. Stop treating God like an option. Stop treating God like okay, I'm just gonna tell you what to do. If whatever you're doing doesn't require God, then that's kind of idolizing yourself. Like, that's being an idol. You think that you're in control. You think that everything that you do is everything that's the best for you. It's like, No. And I promise you, when God removes things from your life, whether it's plans, whether it's people, whether it's certain places you've been, when God starts to remove, every single tree that does not bear good fruit will be cut off, will be trimmed. And I promise you, it is joyful, even if it might hurt, even if it might not make sense. Like, it is so joyful. Like, you can have, and sometimes God will just be like, okay, you want to act like that? Okay. I remember some years back, right? This dude I was messing with, got everything together. Like, got a nice look, got a nice little ching-ching, got a nice little ching-ching, got a nice car, nice body, all of that, right? All of these, right? And so I ended up in like a situationship. Y'all just talking, y'all ain't together, but y'all just talking, whatever, right? This dude had all these qualities, right? But that is not the best that God had for me. It's really not. You can have a dude and he can do blah, 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 whatever. He puts it down, whatever. Honey, what God has in store for you is so much greater. There is so much joy in waiting until marriage to have sex again. I'm telling you. And it might seem like, oh, how do you do that? How do you do that? Because God has so much more in store for you. You think that just throwing it back and just doing whatever you think that's the best that God has in store for you? A man that's treating you like an option, you think that that's the most that God has in store for you? Like, that's what you really think. You think you should be with a man that treats you like an option. You think that you should be with a man that he is double-minded. He doesn't know what he wants today or tomorrow. And then, or maybe it's his attitude. He talks to you dirty. Girl, you are not a dog. Do not allow a man to tell you shut up or talk to you like you a dog. You are not a dog. God didn't have this dog have you. He does not have you barking. Okay? So, girl, know your worth. Know your worth, honey. Know your worth, because God's plan for you is not going to look like your plan. And then also, that's my final point, because what time is it? Like, how? Don't.
9:40, 9:50.
Okay. Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's good. All right.
Go, take however long. Yeah.
Good. And also with God's plan versus your plan, it's like, right now, if you say you don't know, right now, how you can get a job, right? Change your mindset, change your perspective. And I know some people going to want to just click off when I say this. Change your mindset, change your perspective. Instead of thinking of, oh my gosh, I see the unemployment rate just rising. Instead of that, look at what industries are increasing. Look at the creator of Zoom and WebEx right now. Do you see how much is coming in right now? They probably aren't laying off anyone at their job unless they're not doing their job correctly. Like, for real. Look at industries that are increasing. Look at healthcare. Like, there is still opportunity within this time. Like, you don't know how to invest in stocks and stuff right now. This is time that you can be learning how to do it. Like, do it now. Like, learn a new skill during this time. Like, yeah, Netflix and all of that stuff is cool or whatever, but what is that going to be doing for your life 2 or 5 years from now? Okay? So, God has a lot in store for you. At the same time, you got to be obedient and you have to be faithful. So, for real, start asking God, okay, God, what do you want from me, God? What can I do to bring your kingdom on earth? And then also just know that it's not gonna make sense. It's not like, whew, but it's just so joyful and it's restful when you're following God versus when you're following just whatever you want. You can tire yourself out. And back to what I said earlier, if you were your own God, right? When you tire yourself out, what are you gonna go to? You're just gonna go to yourself. Oh, how are you feeling? You gonna pray to yourself? Like, what? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just know that God's plan versus your plan, it's not gonna make sense, but you stay obedient, you stay faithful in it, and He just has so much in store for you. So yeah.